I would request Professor Padmanabha Ramanujam, Dean, Office of Academic Governance, OP Jindal Global University, to kindly commence the conclave by delivering his welcome address.
So, good evening. Let me first confess that I really feel nervous to stand in front of HR professionals. See, I'm already nervous because of because of many reasons. I just wanted to just express my sincere gratitude that I was also one of the students who got recruited, but by one of the senior most HR professionals, Dr. Sanjeev Sahni, way back in 2008, when I was beginning my journey towards OP Jindal Global University. And I have to say that my first introduction to the university was with a panel of 4 very distinguished people. Dr. Sanjeev Sahni was heading that, Julian was there, Francis Julian was the Chief Legal Officer, Professor Dr. C. Rajkumar, who is our beloved Vice Chancellor, and Dr. D.K. Srivastava, who was our first Pro-Vice Chancellor. So it was a very distinguished, and I was being actually interviewed for the post of Research Associate, and I have to tell you, it is so important all throughout our life that we understand that when we're talking about HR, human resource, it's not about people who recruit, but people who actually make your life. And I'm really grateful to all the entire panelists, including Dr. Sanjeev Sahni, who thought that I could actually come and create value to this university, and I am really grateful. And I think that is why it is very important to understand, that why we need to celebrate people who are working in human resources and understand what role they have to play in the organization. And this is just one small extended, I would say, present to all the HR people who are doing such wonderful job. And a round of applause to all the people in this hall who are doing really amazing work. Just to extend my warm welcome, I'm sure there are our wonderful students here. We have professionals from industry. We have very distinguished panel speakers. We have our chief guest for today. Without taking much time, I just wanted to tell you today that it is very important also as individuals who are working in part of organizations to always think about upskilling, always to think about upscaling. There was a time when I was working in university in 2017, I thought that I need to go and upskill. I had an opportunity to go and work with QS and work with LSAC. And it is very important that as individuals, as professions of where you are, you have to constantly think about what are the new skills that you need to develop, what are the, how to upscale yourself. And also it is very, very, very important that, we understand that the human beings around us are changing. The companies and corporations are changing. And how do we recruit a good resource? And how do we make that resource valuable to the organization? It's all about upskilling and upscaling. Again, with a warm welcome to all of you. I'm really looking forward to learn from my mentor and the distinguished guest today and all the panelists. And I hope we can contribute certain insights to this very interesting topic of upskilling and upscaling. Thank you so much. And it is indeed an honor to hear from you. Thank you.
Dr. Sahni is a professor of eminence, founder and principal director of Jindal Institute of Behavioral Sciences. He is also serving as a director for the Center of Leadership and Change, Center for Victimology and Psychological Studies, Center for Community Mental Health, and Center for Criminology and Forensic Studies. At the university level, he is the member of the governing body and advisor to the Vice Chancellor. Dr. Sahni holds a PhD degree in organizational behavior. He not only possesses an extensive and rich experience of 40 years in academia, industry, and government sector, but his vision for educational sector is reflected in his work. At Jindal Group, Dr. Sahni headed the human resources, but was also instrumental in establishing schools, colleges.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And as you can see, he's very, very humble.
You are making my life hell, because whenever somebody introduces me, and definitely the expectation goes high, and then they say, it's not true. Very good evening, and I'm very happy that I have been given an opportunity after probably 9 years to talk on HR. I've stopped practicing human resources, basically, although I've been dragged into it a little bit. I just want to give you a little history. When I was working with the Jindal group as a human resources head, so many new things I initiated. And I used to think that I'm the one who's running the organization. And whenever we used to have a meeting with Mr. Jindal, my turn used to come at the end. All the HODs used to meet first. I asked him one day, I said, I would like to know why you call me always at the end. You know, in a very typical style, he said, जितने भी सारे पहले आए थे, वो मुझे पैसा कमा के देते हैं, आप खर्च करते हैं. I felt bad, to be very honest, because if we will still believe that the human capital is an expenditure, there is something wrong in organizations. Anyway, then I moved as a CEO of Education Vertical, where we were having various educational institutes, medical college, engineering colleges, ITIs. We started opening community colleges because in a manufacturing sector, the major problem is we don't get talented people, skillful people, and on the other hand, people are not getting jobs. We used to hire the mining, not engineers, rather the workers from Australia for our mining projects. So I thought it's very important that we should go to the industries and we should ask them, what do you want? Give us the curriculum. We will train people in community colleges. So we opened in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha in the very interior areas, and every year we used to place roughly 10,000 these students in an industry, and that was a real satisfaction. And I was thinking, this is true HR work which I am doing. Anyway, in 2007, when Mr. Jindal said that there is not even a single university which is in top 200, whether it is a QS ranking or a Times Higher Education, do you think that we can establish one? I was not aware of much about opening of the universities. We were very lucky that we could manage to get Professor C. Rajkumar, who's the present Vice Chancellor, and then we thought that we should open social sciences university, not engineering, not medicine. And that's what we did in 2009. We are the youngest university in the world which has been ranked. No other university in the world has ever ranked, I'm talking about QS. You know, these days you must be confused on Monday Times of India. On Monday, the Education Times which comes, everybody says we are number one. So, you know, many people are confused. But I would only say if this very senior HR people are sitting here, there are only 2 rankings which is worldwide accepted. In fact, it's 3. One is Times Higher Education, second is QS, and the third one is Shanghai, which is probably the best, but they don't know how to do marketing, and they couldn't do it well. So, but you know, I would say that there is a 47 million students, they check rankings almost every day. That is the data, because I remember when my son was in class 8, he said, you know, I'm going to one of the best schools because my ranking of the school is very good. I was shocked to see that the student who's going to the 8th class is talking about rankings. So now we have got the recognition as an institute of eminence. We have many things to talk, but we are into top 700 in the world, and our law school is in top 70. And I also want to thank my friend Dean Mayank Dondial that even business school ranking within India is number 3. This topic, when I saw upskill to upscale, I could not object at that time. Upskill is fine, but reskilling is even much more important for HR people. We need to work on it because manpower planning is a major issue in human resources. And I'm sorry to say, please, I know what a little bit HR of 12 years back, so please educate me today. I would love to learn from all of you. Manpower planning, my time HR people were not very good at it. And then we thought we should get a person from industrial engineering, and even that, those people, we were not very happy. But once we will start thinking about reskilling, I'm sure we will be making our employees multitasking, and we will be able to do manpower properly. I remember one thing, and I'm a fan of one management guru, is known as Dave Ulrich. I don't know whether it's a Ulrich or Ulrich, ending with HCH. I heard him once in Mumbai. He said 1990 was the era of competencies. Now, we all know that in 1980s, the intelligence word has been obsolete and nobody is using it. It is the emotional quotient, but whether the people are competent to take a particular job or not, that is what we need to assess, whether it is a recruitment, whether it's a promotion, whether it's an increment, whether it's a bonuses. So it is very important that we should do. This is of 1990. The whole world engaged in that. And the 2000, we learned that it is the era of employee engagement. Now, this is not the engagement for students before the marriage engagement. How much I am engaged with the organization to give my best. And I tell you, various consulting companies, they come and make fool of us quite often, and they said, we will do these kind of things, and they have a particular questionnaires like Q12 of Gallup and to McKinsey, to Hewitt, everybody has that. But I would prefer that if the HR people can develop their own standardized, reliable, and valid questionnaire, which should be valid to that particular industry, to that climate and culture of the organization, that would be great. And then we will come to know. Year on year, the promoter thinks that, 60% profit, 80% revenue increase. We are doing very well, but they don't understand what's going on inside the organization. People think there is a politics. People think racism, sexism, regionism, whatever. There is no opportunities for learning and so on. So that was the era of 2000. And then 2010, which was my field, they said it is an era of conscientiousness. There they said, with due respect to the very senior human resources people, they said, why we need HR? Because thank you very much, the HR people. I myself was HR professional, that we make nice policies, manuals, procedures, processes. Whole of the organizations work on that. They said it is not required. Why you need to tell someone that you need to travel by first class or economy or a business class? Let the person decide. If I'm going to get a business worth $2 billion, I would love to come in first class, and I would like to spend a hotel night for 2 lakhs of rupees. Conscientiousness. Why? And you can argue with me. I can tell you each and every function which HR is doing, can be done by the line managers. They can be trained on HR. We need to work hard. We, the human resources people. We need to establish that we are not expenditure. We are a part of strategy and business. We need to align with that. Not that I'm glad that things have changed. In 1990, my time, people used to say it is a department of personnel. And in 2000, said personnel and administration. Then human resources. Now they are very nice names, people, PODs and whatnot, they're nice names. But names is not going to help. Now, giving a small example of human resources, and I would like to learn from very senior people over here today. Recruitment, if the system is absolutely same, Naukri.com, Monster.com, go put the keywords, you get the CVs, and then we interview. But the human resources cannot select anyone unless the line manager says yes. I'm glad that now people have started doing cross-functional interviews and all that. Talking about training and development, how many of Indian industries, I know the people who have come, they are doing that. I want to go pretty safe from here. How many of Indian industries are doing proper training need analysis? You know, there is a form, you say that, and number of times we did a research and we found that most of in the manufacturing sector, people are not aware what kind of a training, behavioral trainings can be even provided to them. Skill is fine, but other behavioral training. So we lack in those kind of fine-tuning of TNAs. Talking about everybody, when I interview these very senior HR people, they said we are a people of talent management. And I really wonder what exactly it means. Everybody is doing talent management in an organization. Yes, what employees require? One, respect, appreciation. And the job of the human resources is to project that we are one of the best welfare-oriented organization. Whether we are doing it or not, this is a separate thing. How we perceive, and many times this wonderful organizations are doing HR, talent management, excellent, but they are not able to say as well. So we need to work on those kind of things. What I want to now finally request the senior HR people over here. I've worked with A.T. Kearney, McKinsey. I mean, we hired them, not worked that I've worked with them. We worked with the Boston Consulting Group. Then I thought, I used to go to ISB in 2006, 2007, 2008. I asked people, students over there, how about if I give you a project? Can you, a group of 5-7 people, we pay you at that time, I still remember we paid them 2 lakhs of rupees. Can you develop? Can you consult us? Can you give us your consultancy? And they worked for us on a performance management system, on a business transformation. Believe me, their work was so good. I would request that we are really trying very hard, not only in the business school, but in other schools. Please come to our university. You will see student from the law school, student from international affairs, student for public policy, student for liberal arts. They take courses on business psychology. They take courses on competency mapping. They take courses on benefits. What was that book we have written? Compensation and benefits. They take courses on that. It's not necessary that you, I humble request, and I know Dean will not like it, that you have to hire a MBA for the human resources or for any other marketing or finance and other things. Not necessary. And believe me, the other students, they may have a better competency at times than having that kind of a degree. So I'm just putting up so many things which I would like to learn today from all of you. At the end, thank you, Professor Padmanabha and Ramanujam, that I wish if we can organize every month in different cities. And it should become so famous that people would say that at least 6, we should do twice in each city, and every month, anywhere in India, we should have these. And this would be a great benefit because, again, with due respect to my dean, my students learn much more from the practitioners than even from the professors. There is definitely a mismatch between an industry and the academia. I'm sorry to say, many of the professors, they have never been to industry, and many industrialists or the people, senior people working in industry, they don't have a time to come and deliver talks. These are the forums which students can learn. Thank you very much. and I'm looking forward to have and to meet you time and again. Thank you.
To all the respected members, very distinguished guests of the dais, and also to the aspiring students. And I'm a great believer of education, and I'm a great believer of the youth in India, because I believe they're all at a very brilliant time in India, at a brilliant time of the world to be here today, in India specifically, and a great future lies with you. And I think many of you are potential CEOs of the future. Believe in yourself. Yes, from where you sit, the world and the chairs may look far, but have the faith that you're all here at a very, very privileged time. And I think it's a great opportunity to be here. I think it's an immense pleasure for me to be here today to share whatever my humble learnings are from the industry, from about 40 years of working experience. But before I proceed, I'd like to thank the management of OP Jindal School, and a very special thanks to Professor Sahni, to Professor Padmanabha, and to all the distinguished lecturer and teachers here for giving me the opportunity. It's a great privilege for me to stand here. It was not long ago that I was sitting in one of the chairs on the other side to listen to some words of wisdom. I hope some of them have remained with me over the last 40 years to become here and share. I think we have a packed agenda and a lot of things to cover. So without further ado, I will get to what I really want to share with you on this forum. I've been speaking on a couple of forums and institutions, so if I repeat myself, my apologies to the students and to the academia for saying so. But I think I just want to say and share my thoughts, which I very strongly believe, and I've culled out of my experiences. They're not very specifically on HR, but I think for being business leaders and for being great contributors to the society and to being great citizens of India are very, very important. First and foremost, I would say, this sounds very philosophical, especially at a forum of business. I think you must have gratitude. I think very important, and I think gratitude on three things, I would say. And the sequence may appear to be very different. First and foremost, I think to the parents who have made a very strong decision for you to be here today. They had choices to make with their money, time, resources, but I think the gratitude is to the parents for you to be here today in this hall and study here, because my parents took a decision sometime long, long ago to invest in education at a time which was very difficult. They came here out of what I've called the new emerging India and made the choice. The second gratitude I would say is to Almighty. Always remember, some of us may get disappointed, I didn't get this, I didn't get this. Or God Almighty has a choice and has a career path for each one of you, and have faith in it. And the third, which I very, very strongly believe, is the gratitude to your teachers and mentors who've also made a choice to be here today, to come here and teach. They had many choices. Professor Sahni has been at the prime of HR and prime of many jobs to take, but I think he made a conscious choice to invest behind education. A fine example of that. The second one is slightly provocative and slightly thought-provoking. I would say in your career, have a variety of diverse experiences. Have a variety of diverse experiences, but not necessarily every time in a new company. This is quite provocative because, I meet a lot of children, kids, a lot of people in different industries, and they say, I'm changing my job. I said, why are you changing a job? I'm getting a different experience. Okay, good, agree. Then I meet them after a couple of more years, again changing a job. I said, now why are you changing? Again a different experience. So my point is a little different, and it's not that I've not changed jobs. I've probably worked in 6 companies, different job, different industries, from FMCG to telecom, to durables, to power storage. But I think one must learn to struggle in a company to rise from one job to the second job to the third job. Yes, at some point in time you will believe that let's leave and go somewhere else. If the rationale is very well stacked up, good. And the reason I want to say that is, today's world and tomorrow's world is about multi-source feedback. Multi-source feedback is very going to be the name of the game of tomorrow's world. So if you believe that people won't get in touch with your previous employer and talk to somebody, forget it. The LinkedIn, the social media, the networking of tomorrow's world is of a different nature. Learn to struggle to grow in a company. Have multiple people speak about you, not only your immediate line boss. Have multiple people. I will just take an example. I worked for a company, Gillette, way back before it was sold to Procter & Gamble, and I worked there for 18 years, which is not the norm today. It would disturb the average in the room. I did about 8 roles, but I never took over my line supervisor's role. It was an unwritten rule in the company that you will go here, go some other area, come to some other area, then come back to job. He said, they asked the HR head, why? He said, multiple people should speak about you, not only your line boss. And then tomorrow those multiple leaders will stand behind you for different jobs. When they will say, okay, who's the person? No, I think this person stands. Because 5 people say I've worked with him. So have diverse experiences. Try to remain in one company. Have multiple stakeholders sign behind you. Very important in life. You do not know who will come in handy, who will be speaking about you in a different location and different job. Very, very important in that. Third, I think it's going to be slightly provocative at a start of a career. I think build relationships and interdependencies in your life. You're all in the college, same hostel, competitive world is going to happen. Very soon placement will happen, friends will become enemies. I've lived that life for many years, and I can tell you, but still, build interdependencies and build relationships. Very, very essential in life. And I think, I'm going to talk about a very, humbling experience I had during COVID period. And I met somebody who was a school teacher. She was teaching nursery school, kids at age of 5, 6, and 7. And she was in great, turmoil in her mind. And I asked her, why? This is to do online teaching for these nursery kids and, kids in class 1 and class 2. I said, so? She said, the foundation of social skills happens in the nursery school. When kids come to school and they learn that their happiness and their success is not dependent upon themselves, but on somebody else. The games we play in classes, the tasks we do in those classes. And she said, that learning has gone. When, at which age will they learn that? I don't know. I think very important to learn interdependencies, and I'm sure you will talk about later in the various sessions out there which are going to come. The interdependencies are very important. Yes, we'll be master of our own area, we will know a lot about our own area, but learn to see that is somebody else, how it can contribute to your success and what it will matter in that area. Fourth, also very important, always keep good company, good friends and mentors. It's unbelievable what they can do for you. You will come when a point in time, when the campus placement happen, won't have a friend, but build good relationship, good people who will give you feedback, not only to tell you good night things, but build people who will give you feedback, have good mentors, because we will never know everything. We will never ever assume that I have the complete knowledge, I have the complete view of the world. Not going to happen. Even when I stand here, I think today when we were traveling for an hour or so from our home to the institute with Professor and Dr. Ritesh, I learned so many more things which I never learned in my life. Build that listening ear, build the relationship, build good mentors, good company. They will come very, very handy. If you believe a person is negative, stay away. Keep positive. Keep the positivity around. Very important. Fifth, this is something which is very, very close to my heart, and have very good, this will come in handy. I don't know how many of you will appreciate my saying this today, but have good value systems in life. Very important. I was sitting one day and, going through, left a job and have some free time, and I was going through some of the old cupboard and some old report cards came out. See what I'm going to do. I said, let me just go through it. And I found there was a scorebook saying moral science. I said, ये क्या चीज़ है? इसका score card कब से मिला school में? And I went back and think there used to be the history teacher or the civics teacher who used to come and take a class on moral science. I was that time in school, boys, what is this? बोल रहा है exam पढ़ के exam दे देंगे. But I think he left a mark. You do not know when the value systems will come to be under a pressure test. They will happen in the corporate. It's not going to be a rosy journey. It will be challenges. Organizations are full of maze. Organizations are complicated. And you have to simplify your life, and you have to simplify decision making. And my suggestion to you, have your own value system sorted out in your life. Live by it. It will be difficult. It will be painful. Believe you me, it will be painful. But if you take a long, long career, which is a big marathon, it will come in handy to you. And it will be something which will be very, very essential in your life. One of my last few ones, which I'm going to talk about, is always have a big dream. Dream big. Don't dream small. That doesn't mean don't have your feet on the ground. I'm going to say both the things. Dream big, also have a path to the dream. Don't dream small. Dream big. Feet on the ground, but have a path to the dream. Have a systematic plan to the dream. We at Luminous, have the brand ambassador Sachin Tendulkar. There isn't a celebrity who's as popular as worthwhile. And we have had many forums for him to come and speak to us. And he was playing Test cricket at the age of 16. But believe you me, if you listen to all his interviews, first 3-4 years was failure. And he probably thought that he should leave Test cricket. If you listen to one of his interviews on YouTube, he said, I should leave Test cricket. But he said, no, I went back and said, okay, I need to have a dream, but I need to systematically work on it. And a very important statement, if you listen, is probably on YouTube. He said he would go out to bat and he would keep looking at the scoreboard and he would fail. He went back and started analyzing himself. He said, what happened? He said, I was worried about the end result and I'm not playing the cricket. He said, I stopped looking at the scoreboard, started playing the cricket, the game of his changed. Have a path to it. Talking about HR, and I'm going to talk about, and I know I'm running out of my time, but I'll take last 2 minutes about it. The world of tomorrow, people will have, skill sets, people will have educational qualifications. But I think 2 things are going to play a very important role. One is the people skills, the softer skills are going to play a much bigger role of tomorrow's world than in time. And it was some time ago that, I had attended a training program. I was very fortunate enough that I worked for Gillette for 18 years and they were doing a training program called targeted hiring. Targeted hiring, how do we target hiring? And there was a person who had come from the US, and because it was a global multinational company, US company, and he went through a lot of training programs and content and book. And I think there is one thing which stayed in my mind. He said, you hire people for demonstrated behavior. You never hire people for knowledge and skill set. How are these people going to demonstrate and deliver in that tough situation, in a complicated situation, is what we're going to hire people for. So we're going to hire people for demonstrated behavior. So what is important is, in tomorrow's world, and it's just that we need to win. Sure. But what is a winning? The meaning of winning has changed in the last 30, 40 years. So what is the meaning of winning culture? And it's not necessarily to looking for a winning leader. We're looking for people who can be part of a winning team. The dynamics has changed. We're not necessarily looking for one leader, because in today's world, there is no one leader in a company. The definition of single leadership has changed. There's multiple leaders. Organizations are realizing that it's not one CEO is going to take all the decisions. It'll be impossible. They're going to have multiple leaders in the team, and how are they going to create winning teams and so on and so forth. Sometimes CEOs are going to say, okay guys, here's a winning, I don't know this stuff. Can I put a winning team there and make it win and let it facilitate to winning there? So we are looking for people in organizations who can be part of a winning team out there. And that is going to become very, very important. I'm sure all of you are going to be a big success. Believe in yourself, and I'm sure you guys are going to be very enriched. I think there's a very good lineup of speakers today, very good discussion on the table. So wish you all the very best of luck, and thank you very much.